What's up, everybody? Out here working on the old 2.8 today, and I just managed to get the steering column kind of just sitting in here chilling. This truck did have a push button start and an ignition switch on it. I imagine at some point, I think this is the ignition switch is what you call it. Not 100% sure, but I'm guessing that it went bad. And instead of taking the column out, and all this stuff on the column was just destroyed, like they had no idea what they were doing, and they ended up just wiring in a push button start and an ignition switch. So he turned ignition on with the switch down here. Can't really see it, but it's there, and there was a push button right there. So anyways, parts truck for the win. I went out there and cut these two plugs right here were missing, and all these wires right here were just wired up to the ignition switch and the push button. So all the wires were the same color except for this purple wire, which I know is the solenoid wire for the starter on this truck, is yellow. And I kind of just took a guess and hooked all these back up to their color, just like they were in the other truck, and this was the only one left, so I figured I would try it, and this is pretty cool. So now you got key on there, fires right up, key off. So that's pretty cool. I guess I'm going to button this steering column install up and then probably get started on the gauge bezel cover there. The freaking AC controller stuff was a huge pain in the ass. Never done it before on this truck, and this stuff here like fell apart. So I'm gonna have to be very, very careful taking the parts S10 apart to make sure I know exactly how it's going to go back together and I can get it all back together. Because like I said, it was a royal pain in the ass. So anyways, just happy to have the starter on a key now. So that's pretty cool. This steering column came in the parts truck and it came with a key already. I had to splice those two plugs in right there and it's fixed. What's going on, everybody? It is Monday. We ain't got nothing to do today, so I figured I'd get this S10 up here, and I'm gonna spray paint this door and fender white. And I wasn't gonna video it, but screw it, because I don't like spray painting stuff, body panels, because it just makes it a real pain in the ass for the next person to either have to strip it down or try to sand it or whatever. You can't hardly sand spray paint, but I am just trying to do a quick flip on this truck and get it all one color. I know this truck's not worth a bunch of money or anything, so spray paint will be just fine for it for a work truck. And even if I end up using it as a work truck, it'll be perfect. It'll look good with tinted windows too. I'm gonna set up a time lapse and Colton's gonna get this door panel off. I'm just gonna start sanding. Try to get some primer on this thing before lunch. Just about got the masking done. I think I'm just gonna hold some cardboard up here, work my way down. It ain't gonna be perfect. It'll be a lot better than it is. little bit after lunch. I had the time lapse set up while I was wiping it down, and then I checked it after I got this primer sprayed on, and it stopped recording. So, but here it is now. I'm about to set it back up. I got the Scotch-Brite. I'm gonna do one last Scotch-Brite on it because this stuff like looks a little, it's kind of dusty. So I'm gonna Scotch-Brite the whole thing one more time, blow it off with air, probably wipe it with a good clean rag, and then I got some of this. Oh, look at my mess, gosh. Yep, some of that. So I like the way these tips spray. I always use the Rust-Oleum semi-gloss for like everything. So try this gloss white out. Should do pretty good. And there it is. Not perfect by no means. Y'all can see in the video and the time lapse that the dent right there really popped when we got the paint on it, but it was the perfect light because now you can't even see it. It doesn't match the rest of the truck perfectly at all, but the rest of the truck is also really dirty, so I'll get it cleaned up at a later date. Right now I just got done unmasking it a few minutes ago, and I think I'm gonna put it in the shop tonight and let it 100% cure so don't get any dew on it or nothing. It's dry to the touch now, but I don't know. I just want to be 100% sure that it's good. Tomorrow it'll be good for sure, so I'm going back to Panama for a day, so I'll move it out tomorrow afternoon, evening, and move on to the next project. I don't actually know if I even showed this stuff, but oh yeah, and I do plan on doing the door jamb for sure. The parts store today only had 2 cans of paint, 2 cans of white gloss, and I really wanted to get the outside done at the least, and I did, so that's cool. But all this stuff is back together. The AC controller is all back in. That sucked the most. Steering column's all in and tight. It's a lot better than it was. It's a super mess in here right now, but the blower motor, I figured out that the ignition wire going to the blower motor switch behind here was not getting ignition, so I chased a few wires and I found another ignition source that went to something else on the back of the controller there, and I tapped into it, so the blower motor fired right up. Works like a champ. All the speeds work and everything's cool. I left it on for a little bit to make sure the ignition wire that was running 2 things then would not get hot and overheat. So yeah, it's all back together. Starts on the key and it's painted now. Looks cool. But I guess that's gonna do it for this truck for now. Probably towards the end of this week, maybe, depending if I got anything going on, I'll probably try to get the front end back together. Still trying to decide if I'm going to run the white bumper or the chrome one, or the chrome grill or the black grill. I ain't decided yet. So yeah, I got a little bit of overspray on the windshield, so I guess the plan for this thing now is to get the front end put back together, get the interior cleaned up, get the wipers and all back on, basically get everything 100% put back together. I'll probably spray paint the fender wells. I got some overspray on them, and I feel like that just makes it look a lot better. So anyways, the plan is to do all that, and then I'm gonna tint the windows. I'm probably gonna do 20% on the sides and the back window, and then I'm gonna do a strip of 5 across the front. This truck still does need a few parts. It needs, well, I didn't mention the AC. I charged it up and it worked. The AC kicked right on, worked like a champ. But whenever I started driving it a little bit, the AC compressor started making some noise, and it's pretty much shot. I haven't tried to spray anything in it yet to see if I could quiet it down, but probably needs a new one, new AC compressor. The heater core on this truck is actually unhooked as well. So it needs those two things for the climate control to be perfect, and then it still needs a throwout bearing. It doesn't like make crazy loud noises, but it needs a throwout bearing. It's loud, and you know, while you got the trans out, it's getting a flywheel, clutch, all that. No matter how new the stuff is, just one and done it. So might try to see if I can at least get the heater core fixed, since it's almost, I mean, it's getting colder now, so I can at least get the heater fixed. Try to sell it like that. See if I can find a buyer for it that'll either pay me to put the AC compressor on or do it themselves, and then see if they want to work something out on doing the throwout bearing. Because I mean, I will do the labor, I don't mind that, but I don't know if it'll be worth me doing it. I don't know if I'll be able to get any extra money for it. I don't know, ain't 100% decided. But anyways, should be getting the front end back together, getting this truck looking like a truck again, getting the interior the rest of the way cleaned up, and getting the windows on it in the next week or two. So that's going to do it for the S10. I'll probably do some more videoing on getting the front end all back together, and I got to go through my tint inventory, so probably by the end of the week I'll have another video out, or it'll be on this one. So all right.